Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of NCAA Football. And also welcome to our first ever playoff selection show. Who got in? Who snuck in with our wild cards? And is there a bit of a controversy? Find out today. But we're going to go ahead and start revealing our seeds, starting from seed number 8 to seed number 1. Let's see if there's any big surprises here. Starting off with our number 8 overall seed, the ACC champion, Florida State. It's a bit of a shock here having a champion come in as our last overall seed, but they do have the worst overall record at 10-3. As you can see, they've been a pretty historic program and had a couple of appearances in the postseasons before. This year, they tend to have more of a run-heavy offense with a 1,000-yard rusher in Hale already. And then for their passing game, they have 187 completions off of 379 attempts for 2,408 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. They seem to be a team that relies on running the ball and then using the passing game to do a change of pace. As you can see from the overall schedule, they've had a pretty decent schedule, but when it comes to big-time games, they tend to struggle. So this could be a team that could have some issues, but we'll have to see. Coming in at seed number 7 is University of Alabama. They had a very successful season this year and just ran out of gas when it came to the finish line. They've had a pretty strong team here, really being able to pass the ball to get what they need done and having a bit of a balanced attack with their dual-threat quarterback and Pino. Now going off of their schedule, they had a very dominant season all the way up into their rivalry game, the Iron Bowl, where they got blown out. So they'll have to look to see if they can establish something a little bit better with their extended period off and their rare SEC title game absence. Coming in at number 6 is UCF, our Group of 5 representative. They were able to work their way in to make an appearance with the first ever Group of 5 representation in the playoffs. Coming out of the American Conference, this powerful passing and running attack just leads this high-powered offense. With an underrated defensive team, they're looking to come out and make a statement. Having almost 3,000 yards in the air and over 1,000 yards on the ground with their leading rusher. They're a pretty established team. Going through, they have a couple of impressive victories, one at BYU, one at Mizzou. But now they'll look to see if they can come and make a statement and prove to everyone that the Group of 5 is just as good as the Power 5. Coming in at number 5, Notre Dame, the Independent. Some people believe that they shouldn't be allowed into the playoff with only a 9-3 record. It's not very impressive, but the committee has decided to give them another chance. They have been a pretty solid passing attack with over 3,000 yards and 32 touchdowns. But their running game has been a little lacking, only getting 800 yards on the ground. They've been a pretty powerful defense with Williams with 11 sacks on the year, and so they're looking to really establish themselves as they deserve this shot. Looking at their schedule, they've accomplished beating a wide range of people, but they do have a couple of ugly losses to 3 6-6 teams. Now, hosting the Peach Bowl and the number 4 seed, that would be Arizona, our Pac-12 champion. They've gone through and had a couple of key victories in overtime over USC and at Utah, and then taking down Oregon. They have been very successful. Go through, and they've had a pretty dominant rushing attack with almost 1,200 yards on the ground from Stewart. They're really looking to establish the run and use a variety of formations in order to disguise what they do. They've been pretty successful so far, but no national championships, so looking to put one in the win column there. Coming in at number 3 and hosting the UCF Knights in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, that would be the Cinderella story of the year so far, the Auburn Tigers. Coming in with a record of 11-1, they've had a very successful season in Tim Dunge's rookie year at Auburn. They've established the ground with 1,376 yards on the ground from Andrew DeAngelis, and Mike Finley with 2,500 yards in the air. They have a really run-heavy offense, but have been relying on the pass lately to push them over the edge. Lonnie Larson with 13 sacks leads that defensive team as they look to really ground and pound you down. Taking a look at their schedule, they've had a very impressive wins, even at the Iron Bowl, with a very close loss to a good University of Georgia team at a final second Hail Mary. This team looks like they could be a dark horse contender for the championship. Coming in at number 2, hosting the Cotton Bowl in the Alabama Crimson Tide, is the University of Texas Longhorns. They've been a team that has gotten what they needed out of every player that they needed to. They've been a very balanced team so far, with only 2,100 yards in the passing game and 921 yards from their rushing leader. They've been very balanced and have spread the ball around in order to get what they need. They've had a pretty prolific offense, at times scoring 45 and 52, but have some ugly losses on their resume, including one at home against West Virginia, losing by a touchdown. This team is going to look to see if they can pull it together and make a run towards this playoff championship. And rounding out our playoffs, hosting the Orange Bowl and the Florida State Seminoles, none other than our Big Ten champion, undefeated, undisputed, number 1 seed, Ohio State. They have been a very accomplished team, blowing out teams at times. They've had a prolific passing attack with 3,340 yards in the air with 45 passing touchdowns. Almost 1,000 yards on the year for their leading rusher. They've had a pretty good year. Looking at their schedule, major blowouts. Doesn't even look like they've had a close game all year. Closest coming in the Big Ten championship game with a 42-24 game. This team has not been challenged, and hopefully they will see some challenge on the way in. And with that, the playoff bracket is set. We have some interesting matchups coming out with an Auburn UCF game that looks like it's going to be a bit of a balanced and hard-fought game. Anyone could come out of that. We expect Ohio State to march quickly on into the semifinals against the winner of Arizona Notre Dame, where experts are picking Arizona to come up with that victory. And then coming out of the Cotton Bowl, we expect Texas to have a very hard game against a kind of underrated Bama team. They had one bad misstep, and they're going to look to prove themselves. So this should be an exciting playoff. So join us next time as we go down to the Fiesta Bowl and watch as Tim Dunge's Auburn Tigers take on the UCF Knights. It's going to be a good one, folks. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe because it helps me out so much more than you know, and we'll see you in the Fiesta Bowl.